Hello guys, this is Gaming Productions. We will be doing an Electro Wizard guide. So this is my deck. I will be versing my friend called Nathan over there. And his deck will be this. Right? So, without further ado, we'll jump into a battle with Nathan. Let's fight. Alright, so, Nathan, so, okay, let's just spam some stuff. First of all, let's just spam some stuff. Alright, do you have your Electro Wizard ready?
Yep.
Well, one thing about the Electro Wizard is obviously it stuns. So it's better against certain cards. The cards it's better against are light cards, such as a Skarmy or a Dark Goblin. And this is a perfect opportunity to use an Electro Wizard to stop. The Electro Wizard has 2 bolts. But what's not as commonly known as that is that the 2 bolts actually do their separate damage. Which means that if they focus on a target, they're stronger. And each bolt does 100 damage. So splitting up is not beneficial in some circumstances, such as when they're targeting tower. So that's a useful defense tip. Now, the Electro Wizard will also be useful for defending certain cards, such as the Sparky, the Inferno Tower, and the Inferno Dragon. So,
yeah, that is a perfectly good representation of what you should do. And what you shouldn't do is just put a random Electro Wizard out on offense.
Don't put a random Electro Wizard on offense. Now, a perfect opportunity for an Electro Wizard would be when you're faced with an Inferno Tower, or an Inferno Dragon, or say a Sparky when your tank is faced with Sparky. Right? Your tank is faced with Sparky right now. So what do? You Electro Wizard. Obviously, right, you might not always have in your rotation, but Electro Wizard is a strong card, and you always want to save it for your rotation. Otherwise, things will get messy, as seen. But yeah, that Electro Wizard stopped the push, although albeit a bit too late. So, now the Electro Wizard can be a cycle card sometimes. It's not wise to use the Electro Wizard as cycle card, and if you want to base your deck around the Electro Wizard, it is best for it not to be a cycle card, but rather a reserve card, unless your entire deck is just a complete cycle deck. And this isn't really an example of a cycle deck, and this isn't a good deck, say. So, later we'll be going over the guidelines of a good deck. So, after we demonstrate a few usages of the Electro Wizard, another example of Electro Wizard, useful thing for Electro Wizard, is that it can support heavy tanks, such as the Golem, when it's being Skarmied, or the Sparky when it's being Skarmied. It can help with a lot of things, in defense and offense, because of its versatility. However, it is not the best against spam, unless if you're reacting to spam with the Electro Wizard. So, don't let spam get ahead of you. You might want to put some spam stoppers. Keep a set of arrows ready at all times if you want to be serious with an Electro Wizard push. If you're merely counter pushing, you might not need it as much.
Good point, Dennis. I believe that Electro Wizard should be mainly used for defense. Rather, if you want to use it for offense, you need to back it up with some sort of thing that can actually...
But alone, if you don't ignore it, it's deadly. So a few guidelines of Electro Wizard deck makings. You want to make a quick spam deck unless... or a heavy deck. You can't go midway. So an example of a deck would be this deck. You see, it's very fast and spammy, but we need an a savior card, just in case. So I put in some savior cards, such as the Lightning is amazing because of its ability to freeze things, and it will deal with the Inferno Tower. Nathan, would you please change your deck to one that an Electro Wizard would easily counter, i.e. with Inferno Towers, and etc.
Okay.
Alright, so, I don't want the Hog in here because the Hog isn't our win condition, it's our Electro Wizard. So over here we have... It's not very well rounded, to be honest, but it can pack a punch. A few cards this deck will be weak against are Executioner. But this deck overall is pretty good. If you want to use it, you can. Look, here's an opportunity. Pause. If you want to use it, I guess. It's not the best deck, so don't go ahead and use it like
any other random deck that you would.
Don't use it as a professionally created deck. Of course, you also need to tailor your deck to your standards. So, this deck is a cycle deck, so you can easily cycle and defeat your opponents with cycle cards used as defense, such as this. Now, my friend here made a mistake on purpose, of course. But what was your mistake?
My mistake was that I randomly just put a Royal Giant.
Yeah, he put down something big, so you don't want to cycle big cards, especially with an Electro Wizard in hand. Now here I have a Zap. Not always do you need to use an Electro Wizard. Sometimes you're gonna need to use cards. Now, the Electro Wizard splits his Bolt, so you're gonna want to spam him, especially if he's on your tower. If you cannot Zap reset him, at least you'll be able to reduce the amount of damage you take by half if you react to the Electro Wizard early enough. Now, the balloon here was a desperate play. It wasn't the best, but it was a desperate play. Nathan was trying to. Now, that fireball was late. See, always keep some sort of direct damage on you at all times. And that's why you want to always have two, especially when you're with Electro Wizard. But Electro Wizard serves as Zap. So yeah, Electro Wizard can serve as a Zap in defensive situations, not in offensive situations. So
on defensive situations, you want to take advantage of the Zap.
Yeah.
And you want to use it so that you can counter...
So an example would be if I got Skarmied. So we'll watch a really, really Electro Wizard bound card. So this is my deck. I'm going to cycle a few things. But yeah, this Electro Wizard, the Zap, is the first thing you want to take advantage of. Now, the Ice Golem will tank up the damage for the Electro Wizard. Don't put an Electro Wizard defensively unless you're desperate. Don't put an Electro Wizard defensively unless you're looking for it to go as a counter-attack push. If you put your Electro Wizard and waste it instead of forcing it to be dealt with, bad things will happen, such as them taking advantage of it and making a push. Now, you never want to ignore the Electro Wizard. And the reason is, it's strong. It does a lot of damage. And the Inferno Tower here will get easily destroyed. But the Inferno Tower plant wasn't very mediocre or anything, because it was placed where the Electro Wizard couldn't target it and the tower. And look, there's where he took advantage of the Electro Wizard. I was able to stop it because he was still lacking elixir, but the point is that if you don't keep your Electro Wizard ready when you need it, things will get bad.
Like what just happened there.
Yeah. I would have died if my deck wasn't spammed, so always keep a big damage dealer, like a mini P.E.K.K.A. or a P.E.K.K.A. on hand.
Possibly a Mega Minion.
Yes, possibly a Mega Minion, but ideally it's something that will not cost more than 4 elixir, or 5, if you're truly desperate. Also, one of the biggest worries is the graveyard. One of the things you don't want to mess with would be the graveyard. And now, This is a punishing moment not to have your Electro Wizard, so I'm going to Electro Wizard. The Zap will take care of a lot of things, and the balloon would have got there if the Zap hadn't happened, so... Also, a Cannon Plant will also deal with the Electro Wizard very well, even if it's already targeting a tower. Anything that will divert the Electro Wizard's attention, whether it be partially or fully, will help to defend against it.
Here's another example of a terrible...
That's a terrible plant. The Inferno Tower, even though it was out of reach, it would be easily attacked. And so here, I am going to prepare a light. Now, you don't want to put clumps of your troops together. A lightning will easily take care of that. You want to determine whether your opponent has any high value potential cards as direct damage spells, such as, for example, Rocket or Lightning, or possibly Tornado. Tornado especially can drag over things, but the Electro Wizard will not be affected by it as much, because the Electro Wizard is ranged and will not retarget. However, the Electro Wizard might be taken advantage of, and its double bolts, which once was helpful and a benefit, will now be something that activates a King Tower. And that is especially useful to take note of clan battles. Now, if you're trying to defend against an Electro Wizard, a Lightning will always be able to take care of your troops.
Here's a perfect example of what an Electro Wizard would be able to accomplish.
So, the Electro Wizard here was stopped very fast. It was stopped pretty well. The Electro Wizard stopped it pretty well, but a few things that you don't want to do is if you are having trouble with Electro Wizards in your deck, try substituting one of your bigger damage dealers for something that can soak up damage. Or if you need to deal with Electro Wizards quicker, and you just soak it up and stall it too much without actually killing it.
Perfect time for a use.
Yes, that was an ideal time to use an Electro Wizard, although a spell would have been better. And now, an Electro Wizard could deal with a lot of spam. Spam such as a Skarmy. Now, if you have an Electro Wizard, you can earn lots of value out of desperation attacks. Such as this one. In desperation, my opponent placed down the Royal Giant and the Electro Wizard, which baited it out. Now, I'm trying to find an opening for my Electro Wizard, and ta-da, there is one. The Electro Wizard will go and ham and mess with this entire push. The archers will come in. Oh, and by the way, I'm not doing direct damage to the tower because I'm sort of doing a guide, not trying to wreck someone. In a real situation, you obviously would take advantage of your zap. But my point is, desperation will cause the players to react very, very panically. And they will not think their movements through, and they will not leave enough elixir to work with other things. So, another thing to
Dennis will now example.
And now a real battle with an Electro Wizard would be very helpful, I think, for the example. So we're going to make a spam deck. A Hog Rider. And we're going to make a deck, and it's all based off of your real levels, but this is a deck that may work well, a deck that you might want to copy if you can't find one good. Or if you're having trouble with Electro Wizard, just know how Electro Wizards are ideally used. And the ideal usage for an Electro Wizard is probably as a defense. So you want to supply your pushes with something spicy and something that will not be able to be easily countered with an Electro Wizard Skarmy combo. I say this because taking Skarmy or something similar is an initiative you must take. Without spam to help protect your things, it will not go very well, because the defending Electro Wizard will probably get completely demolished by something, say, Elite Barbarians, for example. And Elite Barbarians, no one likes them, okay? No one likes them. So, Elite Barbs will get easily destroyed by an Electro Wizard. And one thing about this is that the Electro Wizard would completely wreck big tanks, but medium cards is really the Electro Wizard's worst enemy. And there's a great example, like this guy's trying to contribute already. So this guy doesn't know I have Electro Wizard yet, but that wasn't the greatest, because the medium tanks, they could split they could split the Electro Wizard's damage, and they could still destroy the Electro Wizard because they did moderate damage. Their health wasn't the greatest, which means the Elite Barbarians died immediately afterwards. But the Electro Wizard, you generally want to lure out. When you're luring out, unless you're professional, you don't want to take any risks. One example of a risk that you don't want to take was the move I just made. I put the Spear Goblins too far out, trying to buy more time. However, it didn't work, as clearly demonstrated by my failure to stop the Barbarians. Now, not every defensive situation has to be answered with the Electro Wizard. The Electro Wizard is not your god or savior, and it will not answer every single situation. However, for the ones it will answer very skilled. So please save the Electro Wizard. If there's a situation where you absolutely need the Electro Wizard over one where Electro Wizard might just be a moderately good choice of countering, or even a great one, save your Electro Wizard for when it's an absolute necessity. Also, if you're getting panicked and you need to secure a tower very fast, don't use your Electro Wizard in panic. Unless it's very dire, you do not want to send your Electro Wizard alone. However, this guy just lets my Electro Wizard go off on its own, which is not exactly the same. But you want to support it with a tank. And now I'm left vulnerable without my Electro Wizard. But it's not entirely the worst. See, because the Electro Wizard won't answer every situation. And the thing about making Electro Wizard decks is that you need to make it more versatile. And one of the things you don't want to do is let yourself get cycled out. Electro Wizard decks should not be made to spam. Should not be made to stall. Electro Wizard decks should be made to work very fast, and that was not a good example of it. So we'll try again, I guess. But you want to always do chip damage. Your opponent will do chip damage with their Fireball once they figure out you have an Electro Wizard. So you want to be able to do chip damage like that. If you're ever sitting on Elixir, which you shouldn't be in the first place, try doing some chip damage with maybe a direct damage spell. Never ever let something go ham on your tower. Even if you can gain back Elixir with your Electro Wizard push, it's best to just use Electro Wizard sooner than later. Sometimes, out of value, you will lose health. And health, really, is what matters in the end. So don't lose your health for some value. And heck, you might even have to Fireball, a push, even if it won't completely or even close to completely take it out with the assistance of the tower. Also, don't answer everything with an Electro Wizard. I know I've already said this point, but I need to feel that it should be reiterated that the Electro Wizard won't do everything. However, it will do a lot. And sometimes, if you want to sacrifice the Electro Wizard in your rotation for some HP to be kept, it's a good opportunity to do so. Now, an Electro Wizard deck is not really affected by having the King Tower activated. Sure, don't fireball the King Tower along with the Crown Tower, so you can keep it, but your damage should be mostly done by spam. Your tanks should just be there to delay, and it should not be treated as its damage or its win condition. The win condition should be the Electro Wizard. You do not want too many win conditions. If you do get too many, then you won't have any defense, and so you can't properly answer pushes. However, if the Electro Wizard is overreacted against in some cases, such as this one, feel free to take it as an opportunity to put something else on the other side and fluke them out to get an advantage. Now, the Electro Wizard is a great defensive card, and I feel that it is one of the best cards in the entire game, if not the best. So the Electro Wizard should not be used greedily or wantonly, but it should be used with careful care and caution. Careful care. And the care that is used in directing an Electro Wizard push, that is what will ultimately make it work. The amount of time it takes to make an Electro Wizard deck work, because it's not easy. Making Electro Wizard work, even regardless of how OP it is, it's not easy to make it work. And it doesn't work very fast. Sometimes you got to wait and keep cycling, and in vain hope, you may find something. And now I was supposed to win, but now my scripted dialogue was ruined. Great. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. I know I might have reiterated myself in some points and not gone directly, but, well, I hope in the end that it was helpful and that you'll get more crowns and more experience with the Electro Wizard card. Oh, and if you want to copy my deck, here's my deck for a few seconds.
Okay, see you guys.
And I hope you enjoyed.